Today we're talking about this divine intelligence and how the Tao, which is this collective consciousness, covers everything. Now, one of the things that was surprised me as a scientist when I was studying science, and I asked all my teachers, um, and they didn't know what the real answer was because they're too scientific. And I found out many years later, as a Daoist physician, um, when I studied with acupuncture and look at the body, mind, spirit, the yin yang qi, the trinity of Taoism, this subconscious, that's how the bacteria become resistant. Because in bacteria, in 1942, 1943, around that area, when Fleming discovered penicillin, the scientist says, brilliant, we have discovered the penicillin, we're going to kill a lot of the bacteria, we're going to eliminate disease, and it's going to be perfect. Which they did a great deal. It helped a great help for the soldiers during the war. But gradually, the bacteria developed resistance. And the scientists were like confused. What happens? How did it happen? How did this bacteria develop resistance and became resistant to bacteria, to antibiotics? Gradually, as the technology developed and they could look at the bacteria under the microscope, under the electron microscope, it had a much higher magnification. They realized that this the picture that I've done in the two bacteria, A and B, is gradually these two bacteria join together and pass what is called a conjugate bridge. And one bacteria passes the resistance to antibiotic through to the next bacteria. And that's how the second bacteria survives. So if you look at the graph below, that's what the Darwin called natural selection. That when I put with the red X, a lot of the bacteria will die. Some of them, a small amount, which I put it with that little blue box, they will survive. And then this new survival, this new group will become sort of bacteria resistant, so they will grow and grow until another antibiotic comes along and it kills a second lot, and then another portion survive, and the third lot will grow. So that's how the bacteria become resistant and become resistant to antibiotic. And not only this happens in this natural selection, happens to just the bacteria, but to any organism, any living thing. And that's what Darwin called it natural selection, or what is called a natural shift. A shift. And that's what confuses scientists. The scientists said, this bacteria is dead. It has no brain. It has no nervous system. How does it know to pass this information of resistance to become resistant? How does that bacteria know that the scientists have developed this antibacterial stuff, and they're trying to pass it? They're going to try to kill me, but bacteria said, and I'm going to pass my genetic information, which have become resistant, to the next generation. How did this bacteria know? This is just that's what confused scientists. How did this bacteria develop resistance? They have no nervous system, no brain, they're not living. But what the scientists didn't realize and didn't recognize, because they were too scientific, too yang, too mechanical, too robotic, that is the divine intelligence and the cosmic consciousness, the Tao, God, whatever you call it, natural selection, that allows this information to be passed from one bacteria, one generation to the next. But because the scientists and the medics were so arrogant, so literally, no, we are scientists, we are the medics, we're going to kill the bacteria, we're going to wipe the diseases, and they still have got the same arrogance nowadays with all this technology. They don't think about the collective consciousness. They don't talk about the energy, the spirit. So the bacteria also has that spirit. So they become so arrogant, the scientists, they said, this doesn't work. We got to come up with a new bacteria, with the new antibiotics, and we're going to kill it. And let me tell you, scientists, you're barking on the wrong tree, and you have lost that humility, that humanity, and that cosmic consciousness. You become too machine, too robotic, and you never get that. And that's why when I was doing my PhD at my doctorate at university with the cancer and red blood cells, and I was experimenting on animals, and at a certain point I realized this is not the way. I got into Daoism and Buddhism and energy medicine, and I had that picture of those two bacteria with the conjugate bridge enlarged on my wall. And every time that I was in doubt, I look at that photograph and I said, there must be another way to the universe, to health and disease, to life. And eventually, I came out of my PhD. I didn't finish it, and literally the college, that was 30, God knows so many years, 1980, 81. They threw me out of university. They said, you're not scientists, don't belong here. And I said, that's fine. And that's what I went into the bioenergy medicine. And that photograph, that diagram, was the main sort of a cause of me going to a different path. The body, mind, spirit, rather than just this mechanical, robotic, like narrow vision, narrow minded, that I'm a scientist, I'm a medic, and this is the way, and I'm right, and everyone else is wrong. And no matter how much they're sort of coming up with this new drug, antibiotics, it does not going to work. They're going to be sorely disappointed. So that was like my path in medical system. So I've done the Western medicine. Western medicine is brilliant medicine. It's fantastic medicine. It's really provide a lot of answer to the physical body. But when it comes to the energy and the other side, it doesn't work. And I will describe in my own biography how I came through cancer and diabetes without any Western medicine, Western drugs, and I helped myself. And I was given about a year to live in 2010, and this is 2017, nearly 2018. So I will put in my own biography. I'm not saying that everybody should follow my path. No, I'm just saying I did it because of my knowledge and understanding, and I'll talk about it in my biography. Thanks.